Well, I first became aware of the fires. It's probably spring, October, November, but they were mainly on the north coast. And that I had a operation in hospital. I had almost 2 weeks in hospital, and the day I was discharged, we drove from Sydney through Canberra to Cooma through white smoke. Then on the Saturday, the 4th, the sky went red about 2 o'clock. And by 5 o'clock, it was pitch black. Yeah, it was really quite apocalyptic.
Well, the people of Cooma have been on high alert for fires, but never imagined they'd
overnight,
be flooded.
3 Americans killed fighting those wildfires in Australia.
C-130 air tanker before it crashed in the snowy mountains.
Fighting fires east of Cooma.
Milgate, can I just confirm it's Gibbon Street?
We moved to Cooma about 24 years ago. It was just before Christmas 1996. So we've been here for a long time, and it was triggered by a letter in the mail. This letter offered us this place in Cooma, and it was as though it had been presented to us, so we moved here. For 18 years I was working in the house. We planned to build an external studio for a long time, but made do with young children running around in front of paintings. So eventually we did build a studio about five years ago. Beautiful space, separate from the house, 100 metres away. We actually have 12 acres in Cooma, so it's really an old garden from the 19th century, but we're surrounded by bush, even though we're in the town. The likelihood of a fire coming through is quite high. Cooma at one stage had 18 fires around it. There was a serious threat, at least twice. And then we experienced that terrible Saturday on the 4th of January where the sky went red at about 2 o'clock, went black at 5 o'clock. That was quite a frightening time. Even though nothing happened that Saturday, everything was covered in black ash. We were covered in black ash, the ground, everything. We realised actually that, the house and studio, our property, nothing was prepared for a fire. My work since about 1980 has all been on canvas board panels, composite paintings made from separate little canvas boards, and they were in stacks. They weren't actually boxed, so they all had to be boxed, and it was quite a huge job. Panic, anxiety, we're on the brink of something, desolation, which did affect many people in other areas, but fortunately we escaped it. In fact, an artist friend of ours near Cobargo lost everything, lost all his work, his house, studio, cars, devastating. I started doing this painting, which I called Terra Nullius. I started planning it when I was in hospital. I thought Terra Nullius was going to refer to myself, I am a Terra Nullius. With the events that then happened with the fires, I realised actually, that I'd sort of channel all the fear and anxiety into a work. I didn't have to invent these things because I started to feel them for real. In the face of the fire threat. The painting is a kind of warning, also to the future. Lots of issues have been put aside, climate change is one. Also preparation for fire. What was interesting this year was that finally Aboriginal practices of fire management made the news. So it's taken, over 200 years to start to recognise knowledge that's out there and we've kind of ignored. And I think it actually still relates to Terra Nullius, because having colonised Australia in such an unfair way to the Indigenous people, somehow these fires may have been some kind of fate, that has to do with how Australia came into being. Birth of my first grandchild, who's named William Caspars, happened in the midst of the fires, and you think, wow, he didn't choose to arrive then. And, he's also arrived in the middle of the corona pandemic. We never choose when we arrive. I mean, I arrived a few years after World War II finished. That's our fate, our destiny. And we sort of have to make the best of where we are, or what the times are. The centre of the painting really is in Cooma, Blair Gowrie, which is the name of our property. And next to that is the phrase keeping vigil, which is what we had to do. And then it's like a map which expands out with localities. The last part of the work that I'm doing is there's two parts. One is a burning man, which is from a work of American artist Leah Selmich, which shows a man on fire escaping a car. And the other one is a burnt door, which is a sculpture by Joseph Beuys. And the burnt door is actually a beautiful object. It's as though it's been transformed in some amazing process. Well, I hope they feel a sense of awe standing in front of the painting. I think it's probably a hard work to look at, because there's imagery, but there's also, quite dense layer of text, kind of a narrative that's not really fully a narrative. And I think you can interpret it sort of several ways, maybe. But it's all about a threat to one's being, Martin Heidegger, the emergency to being. We are thrown into the world like we don't choose to arrive, to be enduring, to be abiding, to be emerging, and to be issuing forth. The end times, through Macabre, the final age of this world will be a time of troubles. There's a phrase which describes the end times as a time of tribulations. And here we are. But in fact, the tribulations come and go, plagues come and go. Fires, London was burnt in a fire completely, engulfed by tragedy, moved by beauty. And fires are beautiful. The remnants of fires, if you take away the connotations of people who have lost everything, it's also quite beautiful. The burnt hillsides I find quite beautiful, even though they're kind of devastating and, wildlife's been killed. Humans are a part of nature. Nature is pitiless. If you actually look at the way animals and plants survive, it's quite pitiless. There are processes, some things prosper, some things die out, and humans are part of it. And I think it's a mistake to think that we're somehow above it all.